Hey friends, happy Tuesday. It's another episode of Tuesday Tea with Mandy B. I am sporting my Iowa alumni mug this morning. I went to the University of Iowa. My husband and I both graduated with our doctoral degrees from there. So Iowa has a little piece of our hearts and we're always happy Hawkeyes. My youngest was born while we were there in Iowa. It was a wonderful place to raise a family. The boys started elementary school and they were in, I believe they finished second grade when we left. So Iowa was a very special place. We lived there for 4 very busy, but really fun years. So Hawkeyes forever. Today on our episode, I want to ask you this question. Do you hate that feeling that you get when you've just eaten something and you're hungry again? You know how that goes? I have some notifications coming in. Let me see if I can shut those down while we are here together. Let me come back to where I was so I can see you. All right, this is just what happens live. I just always have these little things that pop up and we got to get it fixed before we keep going. So when you eat something and then you're hungry right after, that is an indication that you're not eating foods that are very satiating. So we're going to talk today about the top 3 most satiating foods that are out there. And there's actually an index when it comes to the amount of satiety that you get with foods, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But you know, there's a lot of things that come into play when we're trying to lose weight, if that's on your goal, if that's on your list of things that you're trying to do. We think about our exercise, how much we're moving our body. We think about how many calories should we be eating if you're counting calories. We think about how much food should we be taking in, what types of food. But it really is important what you eat, and the amount that you eat can be determined by how hungry you are. We have hormones that are flowing through our bodies all the time, telling us whether we're hungry, whether we're full. And those hormones are so powerful. I know sometimes it feels like we have no willpower, but in those moments when you just have a craving that you've got to have something, you've got to eat something, usually it's your hormones that are speaking through your body. And so it's important for us to eat foods that make us fill up so that we feel full for longer and then we don't have to snack in between. I don't know about you, but snacking is something that I deal with a lot. I have to really keep myself on like a snacking budget or a snacking, I really have to look at the ways that I really try to cut down on my snacks. And now I'm fumbling all over my words. Sorry. Let's get back on track here. So we're going to look at 3 of the most satiating foods that are out there. But let's talk first about why is that important. So this term is called satiety, and it's all about how full you feel after you eat. And it's really important in weight loss because it prevents overeating and helps control hunger and cravings and those sudden small snacking things. I used to keep like food here on my desk. When this whole work from home time, I was grazing all day long and I packed the pounds on over time. And it was really hard to break that habit of just constantly eating throughout the day. But it's really good to give yourself a break and really let your blood sugar come back down to normal and not be snacking in between meals. That's easier said than done though. So if you feel full after you've eaten a meal, you're less likely to indulge in those unhealthy snacks. You're not going to be as tempted as you walk past the pantry or if you're at the store. And then it's also going to keep you from overeating later in the day. It makes it easier to stick if you have a calorie goal that you're trying to fit into. It makes it stick to those goals and lose weight gradually over time. So not thinking about the food that you're eating, it can be detrimental to your weight loss success. So I mentioned earlier, there's actually an index that goes into determining how satiating different foods are. How full do they make us feel? And it's called the satiety index. And that just measures how much food satisfies your hunger. So we have high satiety foods that are very satisfying and leave you feeling really full. We have lower satiety foods that are going to leave you hungry pretty shortly after you eat them. So there's also, in the middle, we have moderate satiety scores that are going to be somewhere in between those extremes. But the idea here behind this index is to help you identify the foods that are going to make you feel full for longer after you eat them. So usually the kinds of foods that are high in satiety are things that are full of protein and fat. Those are going to be the foods that kind of fill you up the most. But I'm going to give you a plot twist today when I reveal to you the number one most satiating food. Are you ready to hear what it is? Let me take a little sip of tea. I'm almost out of my French chocolate tea this morning. It's just like I have just dregs left in my cup. All right, drum roll please. The number one most satiating food is potatoes. Potatoes. Now, I just finished telling you that foods that are high in protein and fat are typically the most satiating, but the highest satiety index food is the potato. If you've ever had a serving of mashed potatoes and, a little serving on your plate actually fills you up. You can't eat like a whole, well, I don't know. I maybe could eat a whole bowl of mashed potatoes. But you know the deal. You know how potatoes really fill you up. One of the reasons that potatoes are actually so filling is that they have a protein that seems to act as an appetite suppressor. And potatoes are pretty dense. They're actually a pretty thick root vegetable. And so if you're looking to lose weight, or if you're really wanting to stretch out in between your meals and keep that full feeling lasting longer, potatoes are a great addition. So it's typically all the things we add to potatoes, right, that get us in trouble. All of the extra toppings that we put on a baked potato or stir into our mashed potatoes. But we all need a little bit of flavor in our lives. But potatoes, number one. The number two food are animal products. So I'm just putting this all in one kind of big category. But that animal product food is going to be pretty filling. So besides potatoes, animal products are the most satiating, and then plant-based foods are generally going to be a little less satiating for us. That's because animal products contain a lot more protein and fat, which are both more satiating for our bodies than carbohydrates. And if you're an omnivore, if you eat meat and you're not a vegetarian or a vegan, adding steak to your serving of mashed potatoes is going to be one of the most high, full feeling meals, full satiety meals that will keep you full for a really long time. And then the third highest food on the satiety index, if we look at a category, are nuts. So nuts are actually a really dense food. They're one of the most satiating foods that you can include in your diet. They're high in proteins and fat, and typically nuts are pretty low in carbohydrates. So that combination makes them a great choice if you're trying to lose weight. They're great to snack on. They're low in sugar. They're actually one of the snacks I like to reach for when I want something salty. And I really want the potato chips, but if I can eat some pistachios or some walnuts, almonds, those are all great choices to give you that crunch of feeling like you're snacking on something salty, but you don't have to get all of the added carbohydrates that come in with those other potato chip or cracker or things, those types of snacks. So try snacking on nuts the next time you want to stretch out in between your meals and you want to feel fuller longer. So those three most satiating foods are potatoes, animal products, and nuts. And there are lots of other options. You can actually Google the satiety index and you can look up to see like what other foods are up at the top of that list. I would love to hear from you though. What are foods you try to eat when you're trying to stay full longer? And you can also give us the opposite. In the comments, tell us some foods that you eat that you're hungry pretty quickly after you eat those foods. So give us like both ends of the spectrum. Tell me what you eat that makes you feel full for a pretty long time. And then on the opposite end, what do you eat that actually makes you hungry again pretty quickly? So I'd love to hear from you on those topics. You know by now, if you've been around for an episode or two, that I have 5 free blood sugar friendly meals that you can grab. I have been forgetting to link it in the comments, but you can go to mandybiggers.com/BSF. Blood sugar friendly, that's the BSF. And if you go there, you can grab the 5 free blood sugar friendly recipes that I've got for you. I also wanted to let you guys know that I'm going to be starting in the month of August. We're going to start a month-long challenge to go all in on our goals. This doesn't mean you have to make a goal to like lose 50 pounds in the month of August. That's crazy. But I know that in the month of August, I'm going to be dialing back in my nutrition, my fitness, and I like to do that in a community of people that are surrounding me and holding me accountable and encouraging me. And so I'm actually building that little community for us for the month of August. So I have a Facebook group. We're going to host it in there. It's absolutely free. You're going to get all kinds of goodies. I've got recipes. We've got accountability trackers. We're going to have posts and some giveaways. So if you're interested in recommitting to your health and wellness goals for the month of August, I would love for you to join us. Just drop me a note in the comments that you're interested in the All In group in August, and I will get you added and get you all of the details. So I have all of that going on. You can grab the 5 free recipes. You can join the August accountability group that we're going to do for kind of getting back to our goals that we're setting for ourselves, whatever yours are. You don't have to be diabetic to be part of this group. You know that I like to focus on blood sugar friendly recipes and resources, but you don't have to be tracking your blood sugar to be in this group. It can be any kind of health goal, fitness, nutrition, both. Maybe you want to increase your sleep or decrease your stress. All of those are things that we'll be talking about in that group in the month of August. So drop me a note in the comments if you'd like to be a part of that, and I'll send you all of the details over. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your Tuesday. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Tuesday Tea with Mandy B.